Hello guys, I'm very sorry I haven't uploaded in all this time, and I remembered that today is that I have an account on YouTube. So, and because I bought a lot of things today, I decided to do a video, a birthday haul. Yeah, it's my birthday. I'll start with the less interesting things. Those being a set of acrylic paints, each 75 milliliters, including brown, lighter brown, and black. They all cost 5 zloty, about £1, and are quite cheap for acrylic paints in Poland. Now getting to the real interesting modeling stuff, like proper modeling stuff. Here is my brand new baseboard. Because for all the time I have been modeling, I didn't really use a proper baseboard. I used this piece of crap, a plastic baseboard, with on top of which I painted, so it looks worse than Nia's livery. And it's been also cannibalized for several parts. One of them, let me go to my modeling table over here, take some of this stuff off here, being one of my earlier railway models. It's hard to open boxes with one hand, you know. A weird T9 locomotive. I think it's the Greyhound that I painted up in a PKP livery with some PKP add-ons to make it PKP styled. Because why the hell not? So it has a reduced smoke box dart, a messy front, which is quite common in all things Polish, the weird cow catcher thingies to push snow and animals off the line, I guess. I don't know. And smoke deflectors. Oh, and cylinders. I also added side rods, painted the wheels red, and did a lot of repainting with a few coats. One of my older models redid the handrails recently. With a paint pen. But we're not here to talk about this one. Let me close the box up real quick. And come back to where I was recording. Oh, and it was also used on this little shed over here. Poor thing. And start with wash. I don't really know the company that made this. I think it's called Ammo, but not sure. It's made for dark streaming grime. Oh, I think that's illegal. Besides that, we also have a few smaller models, including some German infantry produced by Zvezda. I recommend their models, though they're pretty hard to get considering politics. They produce amazing models like this lorry. They're 1/100 scale, free to paint, but the sets don't include any of the paint. It's good if you add some modifications. It makes them look better. Like here, I added a fuel tank and a barrel. A barrel here, some tarpaulin, a log. This one was painted by my mom. I added an extra gun, some tarp, a tank, a log. These two were damaged, so I made them to look like vehicles that got damaged in work. So here, this tank's wheel fell off, and this lorry also doesn't have a wheel, and I added a tarp. But getting back to the point of the video, which is my birthday haul. Got distracted over there. I'll also get another Zvezda model. Also in one, this infantry and this model are both 1/72 scale, if you noticed. It's a German motorcycle. I've been recently needing to expand my German army. This is what the back of the box looks like. One of my friends also made it. And here's what the back of the German infantry box looks like. Now we're getting onto the big ones. Place it right here. Excuse the noise. It's hard to organize everything. I'll start with the slightly less interesting one, which is a 1/72 breakdown tractor lorry thing, aka Butch. Oh, and I forgot to show you something from the German infantry box. It is a wheel, set of wheels. We are not done. I'll put it back in the box. And this wheel will be used on my British coat, where I paint from a magazine, which I painted up in a Polish livery because I'm going to be making a Polish layout. The useless old plastic wheels go to spares, and the new metal wheels come in. Sorry if you can't see that well. It's hard to do all this with one hand while holding a phone. It won't focus. There it goes. Now the bogie has been reinserted into the wagon, and it can be transported back home. To its friend. Whoop. And they can both peacefully stand here until I get another box. Now for the final thing I will be showing today. Maybe not final. It is a harbor tugboat. Lucky 6. A Revel model. In 1/108 scale. It was fairly expensive, but around the same price as my IBG tractor. And I recommend IBG models because it's a Polish company that make high quality products. I recommend checking out some of their models. But one of their models confused me a bit because it was my first 1/72 tank. I haven't built the motion yet, but this is what it looks like. I'll use a pen drive for reference. There we go. This is what the model looks like, very similar to 1/100 scale. But in the box, you could easily fit 5 of these without issue. So that's a bit misleading. But it was fun making the model. It's not finished yet, but it's fun currently. Some other updates I would like to make include my model railway. Those are, I'm starting to work on some scratch built buildings, including a wooden garden shed, which is unfinished, just like a dispatcher office, based on the buildings from Tugs, as you can see by the microphone. Massive shout out to Terrier Stepney 55, I believe was their username, for posting a tutorial on how to make one of these. Helped me out a lot. I recommend their channel. The other thing I would like to announce is that I have a currently very basic work in progress model railway. It is a very small sized table, but the plan is going to be currently that around here will be a hill area, is based on post-World War II Poland. Over here will be a small halt. This is what it's roughly going to look like. And it's my fault that it turned out this bad. I just didn't glue it together properly, and the roof doesn't fit on properly now. Over here will be a bigger station. If anyone knows what this element is supposed to represent, then please let me know. It could be some kind of crane. Here we have a siding for the small railway. It will include the dispatcher's office, a water column, a coaling stage. Not exactly coaling stage, but coal crane. Very similar to one I saw in a Polish railway museum. It's a very good product from Fowler. Recommend it. They even added some spare coal because I managed to cover the whole thing in coal and still have some left. I have it in my jar. And I also have another jar of leaves because this is very important news. Everyone wants to listen about some random kid who just turned 14 ramble on about leaves in fucking jars. How the hell did I get this many subscribers? Currently there are 4 locomotives. One is a freelance tank engine designed by Pico. I do not recommend this model. I slightly modified it by adding some coal. It is very hard to weather. Maintenance isn't easy. Out of the box, it looks average at best. It's a poor runner. The gears are very exposed. Sam's Trains also did a video on this. Go watch it. Oh, and if I remember, I'll put links to both videos mentioned here in the comments, or description, yeah. And the other one is a real locomotive this time, designed by Filshman. It is a very old boy. I have to be very careful with him. Like with all models, in fact. It's a bit clunky, but it has working lights. It is quite heavy. I also added some coal here. It has windows. Unlike that heap of crap. And excuse me coughing. Don't feel the best. It is a DGR Class 80, I believe. The same basis as the Marklin engine from Thomas. It is a very good looking model, quite a good runner for its age. Got it very cheap. About 100 zloty. If anyone's wondering, zloty is about 1/4 of a dollar and 1/5 of a pound, roughly. So, a big Pico tank engine over here costs about 1,060 zloty, if you're wondering. I have a retailers, because most of the models I buy here are from retail stores, because there aren't many official stores owned by the companies that produce these models here. Especially in my area, mostly in Wrocław, which is where I go to my dentist, because I have this piece of shit. I'm also going to have a new one produced for my top jaw. The other two locomotives on the railway are static ones. The first is my PKP T9 weird thing. I added coal before I got that coaling set, and it's basically just ballast but painted black. I had this model as a child, so it's a bit damaged. I'll need to re-add the rear coupling and buffers, as well as one front buffer and a brake pipe. It's not in the best condition, I'll say that. The front of the tender was painted by me, like the cab interior. It has a firebox, some controls, but I painted as good as I could. It's a bit weathered, and green paint got in there because this is not easy. This was the very first locomotive model I painted. And this one, my biggest engine, was also the very first one I ever built from scratch. Yeah, the cab isn't that good, to be honest. I should have painted it, which I plan on doing. It was primed with a silver coat and assembled. This side is more rusty than this one. Have to fix that someday. I'll also need to add decals here. And if you're wondering, I do have some PKP decals on hand. This locomotive is a German. Let me check the box real quick. It was designed in Germany, but was used in Poland as a... Yeah, in Germany it was a BR50. On these two models, I barely did any progress on them, if you're wondering. Yeah, this one has barely anything, just some primed parts. And this one I have not finished. It didn't get much development before I just gave up. And this is a TY Class 5. No, TY5, used by the PKP Railway. It is a 210-0. Can't speak. It has some tanks back there and some parts. I'll have to study history of this class a bit more. I did my best on the buffers, but they didn't turn out as good as they could have. And to fit glass to the lamps. except it's not over here. Have to figure that one out. The original set came with flooring, but I decided to do my own wooden floor. I'll have to paint that. Not really finished, is it? It was primed with a silver coat. Silver primer looks really cool. This is how it looked. Though bear in mind that this is a bit weathered. I also forgot to paint this part black. The inside of the smoke deflectors. I'll put it back in the box. The tender for this locomotive is quite unconventional. I tried to do rolling wheels, but they failed miserably. The tender isn't as good as the engine, to be honest. I failed miserably. And the Copper Valley Railway series isn't cancelled. Just, you guessed it, coming out on another date. And it will be audio stories narrated by me. But I can get working visuals. So that's really a pity. I'll try to make my upload schedule a bit more, normal. Not uploading once or twice a year. And uploading a bit more regularly. Though that's hard to say because school and stuff. I don't know. But something I do know, in fact, is that I got a Reddit account. You can check it out. If I remember, I'll put the links in the description. And sorry if the production of this video is very messy. I don't have access to proper, what's the word? Tools to cut up videos and editing. I don't have proper editing tools and need to learn that. And on this note, I'll end the video here. See you.